Hey guys, Lily here. I bet the title caught you off guard. I know because I was surprised too. Early access? Me? Never crossed my mind, but here I am, so I won't waste this opportunity. I've been granted access to the Creator Experience server to give Robin a try before her official launch. In this video, I'll be sharing my initial impressions and thoughts on this character. Just a heads up though, the content I'll be sharing is from the Creator Experience server. The content seen is not fully indicative of the final product. There may or may not be changes in the version update. Any re-uploads or redistribution from the Creator Experience server is at risk of copyright strike. With that being said, let's jump right in. I can sum up Robin in one sentence. She's the easiest support to build, no kidding. Hoyoverse has eliminated several pressure points in character building for her by setting certain statuses to fixed values. For example, her crit ratio is fixed, and she needs minimal investment in speed tuning. Let me show you her kit. The basic attack is a standard attack that you can ignore like usual. I leave it at level 1 too. Her skill is a party-wide buff, increasing the damage dealt by all allies by 50% for 3 turns. The duration is based on Robin's actions. Her ultimate is also a party-wide buff with the following effects. Robin enters a special state where she sings until the duration ends. The duration itself is shown on the screen as a separate entity with 90 speed. While in this special state, Robin cannot enter her turn or take action and is immune to crowd control. Everyone except Robin is advanced forward by 100%. All allies' attack is increased by 22.8% of Robin's attack, plus 200. After every attack by an ally, Robin deals additional physical damage equal to 120% of her attack for 1 time, with its crit ratio set at 100%, 150%. After exiting this special state, Robin immediately takes action. Now you see why I mentioned that she's easy to build. With a fixed crit ratio and her actions hard-gated by her ultimate duration, Robin simplifies the character building process. Although the additional damage multiplier is small, the cumulative damage potential is legit, guys, I'm telling you. It can be triggered by normal attacks, ultimates, follow-up attacks, or extra actions. Basically, the more your characters move, the greater Robin's damage output becomes. As a result, the main stat you'll want to focus on is attack. Unlike other harmonies, reaching 161 speed isn't necessary for Robin because she's immobilized during her ultimate. Regardless of her speed stat, her actions are constrained by a countdown with a fixed speed of 90. Therefore, she only requires a little speed investment, just enough to act twice in the first cycle. We'll delve into the specifics later. Back then, I told you guys that we're entering an era where every character on the team can deal substantial damage. We've seen healers acting as sub-DPS, preservations doubling as natural sub-DPS, and now Robin emerges as the epitome of a DPS harmony, making DPS Asta looks cute in comparison. This ultimate is so good, it provides the team with everything. Hoyoverse has to balance it by giving the second highest energy requirement in the game to it. Without assistance, Robin might struggle to fill her energy meter. Strangely, Hoyoverse has already provided us with a solution to this matter. Her talent and trace are dedicated to fixing this energy issue. Let's start with her talent. Once again, it is a party-wide buff. It increases all allies' crit damage by 20%, and whenever allies attack enemy targets, she regenerates 2 energy for herself. Her first trace also revolves around energy. Whenever Robin uses her skill, she gains an additional 5 energy. These passive abilities play a crucial role in her energy regeneration. Her talent, in particular, serves as her means of regenerating her meter during her ultimate's duration, aside from taking hits. So even though she cannot move, when she quits the special state, Robin has filled maybe half of her meter. Moving on to the second trace, it's another party-wide buff. While her ultimate is active, allies' follow-up attacks inflict 25% more crit damage. Quite advantageous. Characters with follow-up attacks synergize well with Robin from the get-go. Remember that Robin deals extra damage every time her allies attack enemies? Follow-up attacks counts. Some says that the optimal allies for Robin is actually follow-up attack characters, such as Dr. Ratio, Topaz, and Aventurine, simply due to this passive. Lastly, the third trace is dedicated to Robin herself. When the battle begins, Robin's action is advanced forward by 25%. This trace dictates the amount of speed Robin requires. Assuming she's equipped with an energy recharge rope, in Memory of Chaos, she needs 2 actions to trigger her first ultimate. Hence, it's preferable for Robin to act twice in the first cycle, so players won't have to wait until cycle 2 to take advantage of her ultimate. And how much speed does she need to achieve this? Thanks to the effect of this trace, only 10 speed is required. She doesn't even need a speed boot for that. I equipped this Robin with an attack chest, attack boots, physical orb, and energy recharge rope, with substats evenly distributed among attack, defense, and HP. As a result, I have a Robin that has good damage output and good survivability. This build is what I recommend for those aiming to obtain her. Before delving into her gameplay, let's touch on her light cone selection briefly. Harmony boasts an impressive array of light cones in its library. However, due to Robin's unique mechanics, some of them aren't compatible. For instance, DDD is an excellent choice for any other Harmony but Robin, as her ultimate already advances her allies by 100%. I'd also argue that meshing cogs is less effective than usual since Robin becomes immobile after using her ultimate. This means she heavily relies on taking hits to benefit from meshing cogs effects, making it somewhat inconsistent now. While this light cone still functions, its efficacy is compromised. The best in slot, naturally, is her signature light cone. However, if you're not keen on investing in the light cone banner during my tests, I've found Dreamville Adventure to be a solid alternative. This light cone is available in the Forgotten Hall shop, so if you have enough currency, you can immediately max it out. In my view, it's the best budget option for Robin. After the wearer uses a certain type of ability such as basic attack, skill, or ultimate, all allies gain childishness, which increases allies' damage for the same type of ability as used by the wearer by 20% at Superimpose 5. So if Robin launches her ultimate, until her next action, all her allies receive a 20% damage increase for their ultimates. Given her ultimate's duration of 90 speed, your other characters can potentially move multiple times if they're fast enough. Additionally, in the showcase, I'll show you a trick to extend her ultimate duration, which will make this light cone effect even more convenient. If you somehow don't want Dreamville Adventure, another option is Planetary Rendezvous. At Superimpose 5, this light cone grants a 24% damage increase to allies with the same element as the wearer. This is also good, but the buff is limited to certain type of characters. The choice between these two ultimately depends on your preferences. With that covered, let's delve into her gameplay. As previously mentioned, Robin is optimal when supporting characters having more than one action per turn. There is plenty of options within the roster of characters with extra actions and follow-up attacks. In this showcase, I've chosen Gallagher, Herta, and Dr. Ratio, forming a dual DPS setup. Given that Robin's buffs are primarily party-wide, supporting 2 DPS at the same time poses no issues. Did you follow that attack sequence and the energy received by Robin? Here's the breakdown. Technique grants her 5 energy. 4 attacks from her allies provide 8 energy. 2 follow-up attacks yield 4 energy. 1 skill gives 30 energy, plus an additional 5 energy from her trace. Taking into account this Robin is equipped with an energy recharge rope and Penacony ornaments. The total energy received from those actions amounts to 144 energy. The math checks out. Now Robin only requires 1 more action to max her meter. Take a look at the action order list. I'm currently at the end of cycle 30. Once Gallagher completes his turn, we'll transition to cycle 29. However, if I activate Robin's ultimate in that split second before entering cycle 29, the entire team will be advanced forward, granting me an extra turn. You see where I'm headed with this, don't you? Imagine Robin, Sparkle, and Bronya all on the same team. A triple harmony setup, supporting one very powerful DPS. While I'm not a zero-cycle player myself, I'm certain those who specialize in zero-cycle runs will love the action manipulation dynamics that occur when these three characters are present together. Just wait for a few days and you'll see some crazy action manipulation strategy. You don't even need to worry about sustain at this rate since this cycle is all yours. So, I'll do one basic attack here for skill point, followed by Robin's ultimate. Bam! One whole new turn for me, thank you very much. And watch how much damage this Robin deals. 13k damage per character hit. Robin effortlessly contributes 39k damage from Dr. Ratio's turn just now without even lifting a finger. And my Herta and Gallagher still haven't moved. Gallagher has his ultimate ready, meaning he can move 3 times in one turn, while Herta and Ratio also have their ultimates ready. And that's not even factoring in their next turn. It just keeps going and going until Robin's ultimate runs out. Pretty crazy, right? But the craziest part is that since the ultimate duration is depicted as a separate entity in this action order list, if you finish this wave before cycle 29, upon entering the second wave, this cycle will be refreshed, along with your character's action orders. So, if there's somebody whose next turn is supposed to be below the duration, they'll be bumped back above the duration when entering wave 2. I don't know how to articulate it in a proper English, but I hope you get what I meant. Oh, almost forgot. If you hit multiple enemies at once like this, only one enemy received the additional damage from Robin. If only this enemy isn't Dino, Robin would have done a much higher damage by now. And now the ultimate ends. That was such a long ultimate duration. Even though she can't immediately cast her ultimate again, it's not a big issue since her skill remains active. It's duration tied to Robin's turn, thus it didn't decrease at all during her ultimate. So, what do you think? Are you starting to see the appeal of Robin? There is one obvious drawback that comes to mind with this character, though. Given her immobility during her ultimate, you're essentially playing with 3 characters. Therefore, if your team comprises 2 DPS like this, you'll need to be mindful of your skill point management. But aside from that, she's quite safe to play. So this is Robin when utilized as a support character. Damage output-wise, she puts all other sub-DPS wannabes to shame. I know what you're thinking. Is it possible to use her as the main DPS? Absolutely. The era of everyone is DPS has begun, guys. If you want to disrespect Honkai Star Rail's fundamental mechanics, you must use her as a main DPS. Simply bring 3 more supports to boost her damage output and she'll be primed for action. However, for this particular playstyle, I'd recommend opting for the For Tomorrow's Journey Light Cone over the Dreamville Adventure for the budget option. This light cone can be obtained through event, so all of you will have it. Don't worry. At Superimposed 5, it increases the wearer's attack by 32%. After the wearer uses their ultimate, increase their damage dealt by 30% for 1 turn. Seems like it's tailor-made for DPS Robin, doesn't it? I don't think other Harmony can use it. Now let's head back to the battlefield. Unlike the previous playstyle, this time you will need some speed tuning. Not for Robin, but for the other guys. Since she is the main DPS, you really want the other guys to move as many times as possible. I think 181 speed is the magic number for this playstyle. I don't know, maybe some other people can analyze better than me. My logic is quite simple. With that much speed, they will be able to move 3 times before reaching the countdown. I know it's not easy to achieve, but that's precisely why I bring Asta here. In my opinion, Asta is one of the best supports for Robin. She not only significantly boosts allies' attack, but also provides a free 50 speed, making it easier to hit the 181 speed target. Additionally, consider utilizing a superimposed 5 DDD, which reduces the required speed for your characters to 161. When she was functioning as support, her damage output was around 13k. But in her current role as DPS, she's hitting a whopping 34k per hit, almost 3 times higher. I'm sure this Robin isn't the strongest in the server. I've kept her at E0 equipped with 4-star light cones and supported by 4-star allies. You might see bigger numbers from other content creators. However, I believe now you have a good idea of her potential as a main DPS. Speaking from my personal perspective, I find this rather disheartening. Robin is the kind of character that I hope never existed in a strategy game. She is way too brain-dead and comfortable. If this trend continues, we may soon bid farewell to strategic gameplay altogether. Before I wrap up this video, I want to touch on her Eidolons in case you're considering investing more in her banner. The first Eidolon further boosts your team's damage by increasing everyone's all-type resistance penetration by 24%. The second Eidolon boosts allies' speed by 16%, and her talent grants 1 extra energy. The fourth Eidolon is quite GG in my opinion, dispelling CC debuffs from all allies and increasing their effect resistance by 50%. These are all utility Eidolons that can enhance your team's performance. However, this beautiful lady keeps her final Eidolon for herself. Here comes Eidolon 6, providing a 450% crit damage increase to her additional damage for 8 times on each ultimate usage. If the 13k damage per hit you saw earlier feels too low and you want to elevate Robin's damage output, then this Eidolon is the way to go. However, whether it is worth it or not is a different discussion. For me personally, the first Eidolon is sufficient. And this concludes my early access review of Robin. I hope it provides you with valuable insights about this character before you make a decision on whether to pull or skip. Big thanks to Hoyoverse for this opportunity. I'm Lily Aquina, until next time.